What's up, guys? Welcome to Across the Board Sports Talk. I'll be your host today, Lawrence Bro.
And I'll be your other host, James Hudson.
Today we got Coach Devi Greer here with us, representing Braswell High School. He's the head track coach over there and also a secondary coach. He coached cornerback. We got a lot to talk about today. Today's episode will be sponsored by Next Level Sportswear here in Denton, Texas. If you're looking for uniforms, accessories, anything of that nature, we're here to take care of you. Let's get the show rolling.
So, D, for your background and credentials, can you share with us your educational background, your sports background, and, just give us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I graduated from McClure North High School in St. Louis, Missouri,
Yes, sir.
back in 2005.
Okay, from
North
the Lou,
Star.
from the Lou.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
from the Lou, 314. I matriculated to Millikan University. I went there from 2005 to May of 2010. Got my degree in mass media communications and a minor in French. Don't ask me to speak too much French. Not too much on that. But yeah, so that's my educational background. As far as athletics, man, I've been playing sports, mainly football, since I was about 5 years old. So, I'm getting up there in age, so it's been a while that I've been involved in some football. As far as coaching goes, once I graduated from Millikan back in 2010, I immediately jumped right into my coaching role at Altoff Catholic in Belleville, Illinois, under Ken Turner. And I coached there for about 9 years or so, till right before I moved down here to Texas. Went to a couple state championships with Altoff. Also coaching DBs there. Had a lot of talent, some good times there, and that's where I really honed in on my skills of coaching defensive backs.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much my background as far as football coaching. But once I moved down here, end of 2019, I kind of took like a year because once I got down here, didn't know too many people, and you had to get a certification in teaching in order to coach. So, I had to get that. I got my alternative certification program, certification in English. So that's why I teach English. And got right on into it, starting to coach at T.W. Brown Middle School in Dallas ISD. It's in the Kimball High School feeder program at Oak Cliff.
Okay.
Got on there, and I coached there from 2021 all the way up until 2024. And then now I'm currently at Braswell High School out there in Little Elm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know. So you've always been in obviously middle school and high school rim of the world. Obviously, I know you stated that you coach DBs even in Illinois. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the landscape of the football world, of the difference between Illinois and Texas.
Man, huge difference. So, football is big in the Midwest, of course. Well, football is big everywhere because I feel like it's an American-born sport. So it's big and it's just continuously grown over the years. It's a big difference, though, in how it's celebrated. Like, Illinois is more basketball-focused than football. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of talent that come out of the Midwest, But as far as down here, it was like night and day.
Yeah.
I got down here and man, football is king. Now it's like I've seen small towns like shut down straight for football games, and seeing just riding by and seeing. I remember first getting down here and riding by and seeing high school stadium, and I was like, "Is that a college stadium?"
I was the same. Way.
Bro,
I was gonna say I was the same way because speaking of experiences from out of state, obviously both of y'all are from St. Louis. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. We don't have not one stadium besides the Superdome that can carry, over 50,000 people.
Yeah.
You come down here, high school stadiums can carry that. You know what I mean?
Saying.
It's crazy. It's crazy because considering from where we went to high school, and I've been back to McClure North numerous times, and I'm just like, bro, this is nothing. This is like a practice field.
It's a practice field,
compared to stadiums that can seat thousands and thousands of people, and it'd be like that on them Friday nights. I've been in the stadium.
Is real, ain't
man, the Friday Night Lights is real, and I'm glad that I actually got a chance to be a part of it, bro. It's real. It's a real surreal type thing. So
yeah, for sure. Now we're gonna jump into obviously on the teaching side of it, right? That was one of the things that you stated. Obviously, for the people who's looking to be a teacher in the state of Texas, period, you got to have a certification. It's not like obviously other states. Like look at you was in Illinois. Illinois,
Man.
you didn't need one, right? St. Louis, you might have didn't need one. In
you
Texas, you
jump
know, you
right
want,
in.
yeah,
Man,
you
for
jump
real.
straight in. You know, there's a lot of people that probably out here in this world that want to jump into high school coaching or even middle school coaching, but they don't even know the you know, the discussions of what they need to do to get into that job.
Because I mean, I'm going back to get my degree and finish my certification in teaching. So, you know, now I got somebody I can ask the questions to, obviously, and it's a world of difference, you know. So
Pretty much the biggest thing, and I just tell you my experience with it. So, you know, back home, I went to school, like I went, you know, graduate school trying to get certification, but my job was in a school. I was a paraprofessional. I was an aide. I started off as a building sub and became an aide. I've worked in preschool all the way up through. I've worked in every grade that you can imagine. But so how it was that when I was getting near my end of my program, and they were like, "All right, Devi, you have to basically quit your job in order to student teach."
yeah.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I got bills to pay. My people, my landlord not gonna say, "Hey, yeah, you can stop paying rent for 3 months while you student teach."
Right.
So, because there was no alternative certification programs like it was down here, and I'm blessed to have that opportunity. That once I got down here, that I literally was working in a school. I was working at Shepton High School. That's actually where my wife worked, and she still works there. And I was an ISS teacher.
Yeah.
For about a year.
That's a rough.
Hey,
Bro,
bro, we need more of those.
Yeah, we do.
Bro, like I was there, and it's crazy because this was during COVID. This was during COVID time because we went to spring break that year and just never came back.
Yeah.
But so I was lucky enough to during my certification process, it was all online. So instead of having to go student teach and get observation hours, I had to watch YouTube videos.
I wish.
I had to watch the videos. So I watched all the videos, you know, then it was time to take my tests. And for these certification tests, you have to pay for them. So, and they're like $150, $160 a piece.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, dog, I'm paying for this test once
Yeah.
and I'm done. So that's what I did. All my tests, I paid for once, passed them. I was done with them. So, and then I got the opportunity to actually start my teaching career at T.W. Brown, teaching 8th grade reading, before I even finished my certification.
Okay.
So they allowed me to finish it up, but still teach on the job.
I think that's a thing in Texas where you can go like a whole year.
Yeah.
Before you get your cert, long as you graduate with your bachelor's, you get a year to earn your cert within that year. If
Oh,
not,
so they still giving opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay, that's huge.
And that's a great opportunity for
Yeah.
anybody that's trying to get into teaching, especially and then in the coaching hemisphere. Dog, like that was a big thing for me. So once I got into there, once I got my foot in the door, I was like, yeah, I'm in there. And I'm just, you know, glad that I had that opportunity. And I'm grateful for the people down at T.W. Brown forever for giving me that opportunity and that space to hone in on my teaching skills, you know, and do what I've done. The only thing is that with the alternative certification program, it's based on how many credits you have in a specific subject. So with me being a communications major, I had a lot of English classes.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, you might as well go ahead and get this English certification. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and take more classes. Like if you want to do history.
I didn't know that.
So I was
That's
like,
different.
I'm going to go ahead and just do this English. And that's extremely important down here, especially with a really large population of Hispanics.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, they're always looking for English teachers. So I really do have a
You
job
always have a
security.
job.
Yeah.
I will. I really do.
That's huge.
So, yeah.
That's huge.
Because I didn't. Now you just taught me something. Because I didn't know that, like, depending on the credits and how many hours you got in that. Because like mine is in HDFS, and I ain't know that. So like I got to figure out what I'm gonna get my certification in.
So the good thing about the alternative certification program is that the advisors they'll let you know right off the bat. As soon as they're gonna ask you, what track are you? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to teach?
Okay.
And I was like, shoot, I was like PE.
Me too.
I was like, I'm trying to go teach
I want to go to
class.
PE.
Right.
And I'll tell you something about that in a second. But yeah, the advisors, they'll tell you right off the bat, yeah, that's not gonna work because, you know, you don't have the courses, you know, in your degree that you already have in order to actually teach that. So they was like, unless you want to go back and take some more classes, and I was like, nah, I just need to hurry and get this paper so I can get on the sidelines again. So
Yeah.
you know, that's what I did. But now, as far as the PE thing, realize that those jobs are so few and far in between. because the turnover for them is so low. It's
I was gonna say
everybody want to be a PE teacher.
yeah, and nobody, and it's such a cush job. And I know some great PE teachers and people who do their job great, but it is a really laid back position. So nobody really wants to quit those jobs. So nobody's ever really looking for a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that you know, if you find a PE job and you have get that certification, man, keep that job.
You set for life.
You set. You set.
That's a low turnover job.
It really is, man.
Man. But just like you though, how you said, was it T.W. Brown or?
Yeah, T.W. Brown.
So T.W. Brown, I owe that to Navo, man, because she the one who got Miss Goodman got me back into going to school, and
So next thing we'll talk about is obviously, you know, you moving into the landscape of coaching. Tell us about your background. Like, obviously, you played some high school ball, you played some youth ball. You say you started at the age of 5. Did you play some collegiate football as well, or did you do track? How did you get into the track landscape of the world? Because obviously, right now you're the head track coach. That's a big job. So shout out to your accomplishments on that, man. That's huge.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So you know, like I said, I started playing ball at 5. Played for the Belleville Little Knights way back in the 90s. I think 92. I'm aging myself. I started back in 92 playing ball. My dad kind of pushed me into it. You know, I remember games where it was like cold, freezing, snowing outside, and I'm like, Dad, I'm crying, tears rolling. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And he was like, you gonna play this football? You said you want to play. You want to play. But so I owe that to my dad. But so I played ball. I played ball till probably my 6th grade year. Didn't play 7th and 8th grade. Because, you know, back home, middle school ball at that time wasn't around.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing. You played Little League for your Little League team,
and
then you went into high school.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
So I stopped because my Little League team was in Illinois. My mom was like, all right, we're not finna be driving back and forth. So I didn't play those 2 years, but then I remember getting a call the summer before my freshman year from my freshman year football coach, Coach Mike Severe, rest in peace to him. He called me, he's like, Devi, or he's at Devi. Devi Greer. You interested in playing football for McClure North? I said, yeah. When do I need to come? He's like, man, you come up here today. I was like, told my mom, I was like, I'm finna go to the school because the coach just called me about playing ball. At that time, I was a running back because that was the last position that I played in Little League, and I was cold. I always been fast, and I was cold. Man, I got there. And it's crazy because I was actually playing behind like 2 of my best friends, my boy Jerome and Sky. They were the running backs. We all the same age. But they were the ones that were ahead of me. So, you know, played running back. Sophomore year, it was, you know, early 2000s. Michael Vick.
Okay.
Michael Vick got into my system, and I was like, I'm gonna play quarterback. so
choosing out here.
I was like, dog, I'm finna play quarterback. We ran the option. So I was like, I just had them dreams in my head. I'm finna play quarterback. So sophomore year, I decided to change one position to quarterback. But all in my heart, I've always been a defensive player. Like, for real. So I played quarterback sophomore year. Junior year, you know, I was the backup on varsity. And senior year was supposed to be my year. But, you know, me having I'm very headstrong and I have really, really smart mouth. And I still do. I had it when I was growing up. Bro, that kind of set me back. I remember it was the week before the game, Coach Shotmiller, I got into it with our head coach. And
Shotty.
Yeah, and that's what did it. And he was like, yeah, you're not starting. And the sophomore quarterback, who happened to be the younger brother of the quarterback who had just graduated, the starting quarterback. So it was like, that was just his excuse.
Yeah. Try to get him in anyway.
Honestly, as I got older, I started to realize that was the best decision. He was a much better like quarterback, and I should have just focused on defense. I should have played wide receiver. That's what my wide receiver and coach should have. That's what he told me, but I wasn't trying to hear that. But anyway, so I didn't start my senior year, my first game because I was still a quarterback. But then after that, I started the remaining 9 games at corner. But yeah, so that I had a really good season. All conference corner. I think I was 3rd team. We had a really good conference, Suburban North.
Yeah, we had it was a hard conference.
Hard conference. Suburban North Conference, man. Yeah. 3rd team. But yeah, so I ended up playing football, getting a scholarship to Millikan University and playing there. And I played there for 5 years because I redshirted my freshman year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and you know, now I do want to eventually kind of jump back into my track. But that kind of inserted a little bit later in my high school career. I didn't start track until my junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, came out being fast, and
I mean,
I was slow.
So y'all ran track together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's how we got
Small
to.
world.
Yeah, that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah,
Really,
man.
like
Yeah.
I knew him around school, but he was 2 years older than me. So
Okay. Yeah.
out there on the track is where we all got to kind of know each other.
Yeah. It's small, right? I mean, track usually have what 60 athletes,
something like that.
Yeah,
It's
something like that.
it's,
Not
it's,
many.
it's close knit, and that's really kind of what excites me about track, and that's what I've grown to love. But I started in my junior year. What else? My boys always told me, "Yeah, you're fast already. You can go get faster." And I wasn't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah, man.
I was
but
like,
everybody had to run though.
but I was like, dog, I don't want to practice. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But but what sold me on track? They was like, bro, it'd be all girls at the
All
meet.
females out there.
It'd be all girls.
Little bitty tight suits
Yeah.
in there, yeah.
Sold. I was sold. So when I finally did get out there, I loved it. My junior year, I actually got a chance to be an alternate on the state 4x2.
Okay.
Got a chance to do that. Senior year, went through. I was on the 4x2 and 4x4. The 4x4 made it all the way to state.
Yep.
We didn't make the finals. We got ninth. And to this day, I will argue that there's a team that was in front of us, bro. They ran off the track, bro, for about a good 40, 50 meters, bro. And we could not get them disqualified to make it to the finals. But it was a tough year. But I ran track in college my first year. After that, I stopped because my coaches, they left. And the new coaches I didn't really get along with.
So relationship is important.
And that's big with me, relationships, especially as a coach. That's big.
But
so.
I see the relationships that you creating at Braswell, man. It's like me, like he coached my son. So, you know, that's a big thing going from us knowing each other in high school and
bro.
now you coaching my son in high school. It's
crazy.
It's a wild world.
It is.
Yeah,
It is, bro.
And I see the relationship that you create with them kids, man. They really respect you and I respect you coming in because Braswell done been through some things.
Yeah.
We done been through some coaches, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I mean, it's part of the process, though, right? It's a new school, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, it's been
it's
around
only,
what
10 years?
10 years.
Yeah, it's
This
only
year
10
is
years
10
old.
10th
Yeah, I
year.
mean the first 4 years is trying to gain that stability and control, right? Figure out who's the right fit, who's not the right fit, and obviously you got to find that balance, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, right now a lot of things that's happening with all of the schools that's growing so huge in all of the communities is young gentlemen is getting the opportunity, young men and women is getting the opportunity now, right? Because you look up, Denton's growing 2 more high schools in the future, right?
Yeah.
What's one of the things they need? More people, more teachers, more coaches, more leaders, right?
Yeah.
So it's huge right now for an opportunity for a lot of people. If this is something that they're looking to get into, this is for sure something that they should, look forward into.
It's expanding a lot out here. You know, with me just being out here for being my first year out here, and I've only been out here for a few months. But I see how it's expanding. You know, it's beautiful though. It's crazy, but it's beautiful. The campuses that they built. You know, Braswell opening in 2016, and us celebrating our 10th year. And then about to open another school next couple years over in Crossroads. Not far down the street.
Right down the street.
But man, it's what's needed though. With like you said, it's an ever growing area.
Yeah, the growth is huge. I tell you, when I moved to Dallas 12 years ago, I moved to Prosper, and man, Prosper had 1 high school. I moved out in 4 years. By the time I looked up, they were already planning for the 3rd high school. You know what I mean? Like
crazy.
that quick.
Yeah.
So and now I think they got 4 high schools just in that realm. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Little Elm is growing faster than Prosper alone, but Denton ISD is got a lot on his plate. You know what I mean? So shout out to them for growing and making this big for everything that's going on.
Texas yet? Are you from Texas?
No.
Where you from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay. And the schools, are they like that in St. Louis, like out here, or like if you had these opportunities out here, would that have been the same thing out there?
Nah, man.
Nah. That
What I would say is that knowing the relationship that I have back home, I think that if I was still, because at one point in my career, I did want to be a head football coach. And moving down here is like,
hey,
that was
that's
one
like
of the
being
things.
a college head
That was actually one of the things I wanted to talk about next. Was kind of like, okay, right now you're a head track coach, you're a cornerbacks coach.
Yeah.
What does your future look like? What's your goal? What is it that your mindset is for the next 5 years that you're looking to accomplish?
Well, like I said before, when I initially started coaching, I was like, yeah, I want to be a head football coach, no matter where it is, whether it be in St. Louis, Texas. For some reason, I always knew that I would be in Texas. Even, growing up as a Dallas Cowboys fan and having family that lived.
That's stressful.
Yeah, it is. Tell me about it. We ain't gonna talk about that. Not too much. We ain't gonna talk about that. But man, growing up a fan, having family that lives down here, and I visited down here numerous of times. And my mom and her sister and her brother, they went to school at Jarvis, in Hawkins. So it's kind of like it's like an extension of me. Yeah. But as far as like goals, I had to kind of alter them. Never thought that I would be a head track coach. Okay. Never thought that. Now as far as football, I have had my opportunities. Because I spent 2 years at T.W. Brown. My first year I didn't coach. Second year, I was the head football coach at T.W. Brown. Okay. So I was a head middle school coach, and then once the guys at the high school, the feeder program, saw me and they were like, okay, this kid knows, this guy, I don't want to say kid, this guy, young man, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. They immediately like, we got to get him up here.
Right.
So that's how I got up in there, with them. But, I see a lot of the stuff that these coaches deal with, the head coaches deal with. And it's like, it doesn't seem like it's just a standalone spot. It's always head coach / athletic director.
Yeah. Right. But I think that comes with kind of the pay, right? Because in Texas, I mean, some of these jobs are $200,000, $250,000 paying jobs.
Yeah.
They can't pay that just to a head coach.
Right.
It's got to have that athletic director title.
Put something on it.
Yeah.
Because,
something else.
New Orleans, they the PE coach.
Yeah.
That's the head football coach, right? They're PE coach, right? Yeah. St. Louis, they might just be PE teacher, right? Like, so you got
English teachers, one of them.
Bro, it's something like that.
Yeah.
Right quick, so what are you doing to keep the connection with the younger crowd, the up and coming kids? How are you like able to like keep the connection? Because the older we get, it creates a disconnect.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
That's a great question and I've always felt like, because with me always being one of the younger guys on staff, and I still kind of look young, a lot of kids just gravitate toward me. Yeah. I try to pick up on a lot of the stuff that interests them. And and build a relationship. And the crazy thing is, I find myself, and even though I say, we got about 6 or 7 things. That's I'll do that. So, I try to keep up with their stuff as much as I can. And now, as I'm getting older, it's like, that gap is widening. But I've always, I've learned and I've always been taught, man, just respect them. And just know that they have the same stuff, their trends and things like that we had growing up. Yeah. It might not be the same, but it's always something. So just try and find something to create that relationship with them, to let them know that, hey, you can trust me. I'm on your side. I'm still your superior, if you want to call it that. But I don't go out there and be like, it's just, hey, blah, 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 blah. No, I built a relationship with them first. And when you build a relationship with them, bro, they'll run through the wall for you.
That's
you don't have to force them to do nothing. Dog. They will literally do whatever you say if they know, he got my back. So that's what I show them, that, I got your back. And I don't mean just on the field. I mean in life. I don't just talk about stuff sports-wise with my athletes.
Nah, for sure.
I'm always checking on them, what's going on in their life, whether they in a relationship, whatever you want to call it, relationship. School for sure. Number one. That's always been my, number one thing, because it's always student-athlete with me. Yeah. So, I'm always making sure that they are, on the up and up as far as, life. I got kids that graduated back in like 2012, 2013, for my first few years coaching, that still reach out to me and, hey, coach,
That's awesome.
how you doing and stuff like that. And they starting their families and stuff like that. And they are coaching and stuff like that. So, building those relationships is one of the big keys to me. And it's really what makes coaching easy for me.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Speaking into that, tell me about what has been like some of the hardest issues that you've came across as being a coach. I mean, we talk about a school, Braswell.
Oh
I
man,
know politics.
yeah, bro.
We talk about a school. Braswell's been around for just 10 years, right? So obviously you experiencing things differently from when you at Kimball,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that school's been around for
Oh, yeah,
years,
years,
right?
yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a coach, not only in football but track as well?
Okay, well, as far as the challenges, my biggest challenge is just making sure I realize that I can't save everybody.
Okay,
That's a good
okay,
one.
that's huge.
Like,
Yeah, that's huge.
Like you go into the coaching realm and the teaching realm wanting to, leave a lasting impact, and that's my biggest thing. I
That's
want to
my
leave
big-
an
yeah,
impact. Even on my social media page, I make sure people know that's my end goal: leave a lasting impact, no matter where I am. But man, like, and being at Kimball, with them being in Oak Cliff, it's a different.
Opportunities is different.
It is,
It's
man.
it. And it's look that really different. I already
Yeah.
know, coming from St. Louis, got to keep referring back to Louisiana. And
Yeah.
my boy Cam came from California, straight out of LA. So
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
In the
different.
cities.
And
I
then
mean,
everybody got to learn different how to navigate through it.
Right,
yeah,
bro. But
because
man,
ain't no jumbotrons in St. Louis
No.
at a
And-
high school stadium. You know what I'm saying?
and there ain't none of that, at Kimball. And probably my biggest challenge was back in 2024. Man, I was coaching at Kimball. I had this kid, David Washington. Man, he was one of my DBs, and he was always like misunderstood, just a misunderstood kid. And he was great personality, ball and energy. He could ball too.
Yeah.
I never forget. He had transferred out of the Kimball feeder program after he left 8th grade. He went to 3 different schools. He went to Sock, he went to Carter, he went to Duncanville, and then he came back his senior year, came back to play for us. Okay. And he actually left T.W. Brown a year before I got there. So I didn't know him, but I knew of him, through some of my kids that I've coached. Yeah. But he got into it with the coaches, and he was suspended for our first 3 games in 2024.
Which was his senior year, right?
Which was his senior year.
Okay. Okay.
But we was trying to keep him around because we know, he had kind of a rough life, and we wanted to make sure that he was able to, live out his senior year and get a chance to go ball in college and stuff like that. So we had him playing JV. JV, just while he was suspended, just so he could play.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
And I'll never forget, we were playing out at Forrester Field. He had the game of his life. He had like 4 touchdowns, bro. We had this kid at quarterback, wide receiver, DB. We had him at everything because out there it was like, shoot, we just put him out there. He was a senior playing JV. So
yeah.
he was killing.
He killing it.
He was killing, bro. So head coach, Coach Bam was like, all right, man, we're gonna lift this, suspension after week 2. So week 2, we go to Arkansas, Pine Bluff for a game. So we played against Pine Bluff High School, bro. Never forget, bro. It had to be about 2:00 in the morning, bro. One of the other coaches came into our room, like frantic. He's like, man, they shot little David. They shot little David, and then he died. He got killed. It was like some stuff straight out of a movie. This boy was just killing on his JV team, and bro, he was about to move up. He should have been with us in Arkansas. So it's like that. Like, I immediately broke down. Then waking up, and that next day we had the game, going downstairs into the lobby of the hotel, bro. It was like you could hear a pin drop. The kids, you just looking at their faces, like, it's just.
They saw somebody work hard to get back on the field to something that, obviously he got suspended. He worked his butt off. Yeah. Did he make the trip? Was it in Arkansas?
He was at the South Oak Cliff Duncanville game.
Wow.
And what happened was some guys tried to start some stuff with him, and I don't know how familiar y'all are with the area, but across the street from there is this was just 2024. It's 2024. Yeah.
Wow.
Did we not see this?
Yeah, this was a couple just not this past season, but the season before. And they went over to the gas station because he was gonna fight it out. And he's fighting, I guess he started, beating up the dude. Dude pulled out a gun. He backed off. They shot him.
Wow.
I don't mean to make it like a black thing, white thing, or anything. But as far as like being the head coach of a school, James, you too. You coach, Lawrence coach. Do y'all think that we can do anything better as far as like bobbing and weaving through the politics? Like some type of way. Is there anything that we can do better, or are we doing the absolute thing that we can do? Are we doing the absolute best that we can do?
I think it goes back to what he said. You got to learn that you can't save everybody, and kind of you got to navigate it through yourself. For yourself more so than trying to help everybody. Right? We try, right? And we try to be the best for not only us, our kids, our family, our wives, the kids that we coach. But at the end of the day, right, they got to have a mindset for themselves as well. They got to figure out that, he ain't going to be there every time to save them. Because that whole situation could have solved itself by him not even going over there to fight at that gas station.
Right. So, that was kind of...
Not knowing anyway, even if you fight it out, whatever, you might get arrested.
Yeah.
You might get arrested. Now you really not gonna make it.
Now you really ain't gonna make it.
Now you just had a 2-game suspension. You back on suspension again.
So getting arrested and all of that. And
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I don't think that you can't pour out too much of yourself, like you said, because we still got our own families to worry about. And it's not saying that we giving up on the kids or nothing like that, but like the strongest thing is like if you pouring out too much and you missing out on your family and your making something happen for yours because you pouring into somebody else's kid. Only thing that popped into my head right now is try to get more parent involvement. Is that's the biggest thing that probably popped into my head is like, hey, we need you here with us, holding on to your son or daughter and getting them to the game from the game, take them straight home. If you know your kid,
I think also though that boils down to community. You know what I mean?
Community.
That's the biggest thing.
That's a big thing versus St. Louis to LA to
no matter where you are,
Dallas ISD to Denton ISD, right?
You have to have community, and just to get back to what he was talking about, a lot of the stuff is out of our control too. It's in our community. It's out of our control. We have to get some people in the positions that make decisions that's going to benefit not only just our community, but benefit everybody equally. Because right now, a lot of the stuff, like you said, it is politics that's involved with it. And a lot of our people aren't at the top to be able to make those changes. But like you said, the big thing is community, bro. Like the community is what's going
Culturally, have you always had that mindset? Because you know how our culture is. Have you always had that mindset? And if you didn't, how did you transition to it where you are now?
It took a level of maturity.
For sure.
Instead of pointing the finger and blaming and saying, they don't do this for us,
For sure.
Why am I not stepping up and being that?
For sure.
And that's what I try to do with whatever position that I'm put in. If I get a position where I'm, top of the totem pole or not somewhere near it, I'm going to do what I can from my position to make that change or be the change that I want to see, and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, just getting back to a little bit more of my, coaching background. When I got here, initially, I did not want to come out to this way. I've always lived in Frisco. Okay. Because my wife, when she moved out here the year before I did, she moved to Frisco. I moved out here with her to Frisco. I've lived out here. I seen how they have it out here. Even how I have it now. I was like, I don't want to coach them.
Yeah.
They don't need me. I felt like they didn't need me.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm going to go to Oak Cliff, because they reached out their hands for me. So I'm going to give back there, and then when the opportunity came and I found, in Braswell, and then I saw, okay,
it's out here too.
It's out here too. It's out here too. Might be pockets, but it's out here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so there's a reason why I'm where I'm at. So I'm doing what I can in the position I'm in now, and I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity, bro. Like it's like I'm extremely appreciative to be able to be head track coach and be a football coach here at Braswell. And I just hope that I'm able to have success to where I can continue on, because right now, shoot, we are in a transition phase as far as football. Okay. Getting a new head coach to probably be being announced here in the next couple of days or so.
Okay.
So
we're gonna be looking out
in
for
flux. In flux right now.
I'm not trying to be messy. What happened with Lassiter? What happened with Lassiter? Let's get to it.
That's a great question. So obviously, as you say right now, y'all in transition. what transpired professionally.
Yeah,
Right,
of course,
professionally,
of course,
right.
of
I mean,
course.
obviously, we're not here to start no mess
Oh, no,
of
I ain't
that
gonna do
nature.
that. I
But
ain't gonna do that.
professionally, what do you think could have controlled the last situation? Because obviously, we have Coach James. He got kids that went to Braswell. Obviously, his kid played defensive back. We have kids all around that we coach that parents, got an older kid on the team, and they just always say, "Oh, my kid at Braswell ain't growing. He not getting better. He not doing this. He the top man, and he not getting looked at." What was it that transpired? Because they were huge on Lester a couple
From what
years
I
ago
heard,
when he
yeah,
first got
like,
hired.
What I
Excited.
heard, yeah.
So,
Excited.
I heard that from James. I heard that from my boy Ty, who has his stepson is on the team as
too.
well.
Yeah.
And obviously I wasn't here for those years. I can only go off of what I was told. Everybody was extremely excited about having a black man lead the team, first black coach in Denton ISD history.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Like,
Yeah,
huge.
that's huge.
Yeah.
So, obviously he was saying, all the right things. I can only speak from the small time that I've known him.
Okay.
And it just was, and I'll be frank and just be real. I didn't like some of the decisions that he made, respectfully. I didn't like how he didn't have, like I said, I'm big on relationships.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he had them relationships or the type of level of relationships that I would have if I was in his shoes.
Yeah.
I feel like
With-
he talked down to the kids at times.
With coaches or with kids?
Now with coaches, because if you look at the record, every year there's been high turnover with his staff.
Yeah.
We are a brand new staff this year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about he
Everybody
only had
except for like one.
He had
right?
2 coaches on his staff that returned.
Yeah.
That had been on his staff since he had been there.
Okay.
Those are some good
Okay.
guys too. But everybody else, went about their way, and they didn't go far. A couple guys, one of them went to Richland, one went to Allen, a couple other guys, they went wherever.
I know one just retired.
And then one
He
just
was-
retired.
he-
One will retire.
Yeah.
You got Coach Hitchens. Coach Hitchens went to North Forney. He's not an offensive coordinator at North Forney, and
come back.
They went deep.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that he's one of the guys that, and I don't have too much inside knowledge, but I think he's one of the guys that did apply for the position. But
on, Ben.
I just it didn't take me long, and the crazy thing is, before I even took the job, it's like people was like, yeah, he's something else.
Okay,
in
so
the lack of
he's
better
already
words.
so basically he's already got that
That
target on his back.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
he did that. And I wasn't thinking much of it because I was like, look, I'm going to go do my thing. I'm here for the kids.
Of course.
And, I only had one, issue, with him. We had our, spat, if you want to call it. I just had to kind of let him know, because I'm big on, look, if I tell you something, don't try and act like I didn't tell you. That's what, I kind of had a little blow up in the meeting.
Accountability.
But, yeah, but that's all it is with me. Just, be accountable. But, he just that his relationships with the kids, I didn't personally agree with just on that. I feel like he meant well, but I feel like, sometimes when we get that, and by we, I mean us black men, sometimes when we get that position of power, I feel like we feel like we're untouchable. And you can see that kind of with what's going on in the world, with the Diddy situation. Don't want to bring that stuff up. You just feel like once you at that level, you like,
We lose sight.
me.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
lose sight.
lose sight. Yeah, for sure.
No, you're not untouchable. But other than that, I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. Other than the lack of success that they've had over his tenure,
Well,
I don't know.
I know a lot of them kids, and my own son coming home saying, I don't play no more.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
there's been a lot of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like,
I've never seen a petition in my life.
and
That was crazy.
When
Oh,
it came to,
I had just got hired.
Petition?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a petition, going around.
with
Yeah.
over 500 signatures.
It was a
on
lot
it.
of signatures, and
Lot
that's
of
crazy
signatures
because
on
that
it.
came out not long after. It might have been before I was hired, but as soon as I got there, that was like one of the first things. One of the students, he started a petition. It was all on the news and
Yeah,
stuff
man.
like
Oh
that.
wow.
Yeah,
So
was,
if an athlete
it
is
was
doing
crazy.
that, it goes back to relationship. It goes back to
Exactly.
talking down on kids.
Exactly.
Not being a leader and the voice that actually they need.
Exactly,
And the kid was a dog that actually he could have made it for.
yeah. So
Yeah, he could have made it for it. And man, it's just crazy that a lot of them kids, lost sight, being in that program and how like they quit. Or they get to a game they don't really want to play. Like you got the other team coming out, they hyped up. No, they ready to go. And we come out, we hyped up for a minute and
I mean, it's
the
just
momentum died fast. And
it's kind of like you said,
watching.
they lost sight overall.
Yeah.
What about the opportunities they lost in life for further
Facts.
investment?
And that's what really it hurts me to see that, because especially this year, I came on in the spring. I literally had my interview, came back later that afternoon, watched some spring ball practice, and there was a lot of faces out there that weren't out there with us during the fall. And I'm talking about senior players. In my mind, before I got to see truly how he was, interacting with them, after a few, months or so, I could not fathom how you allow a coach to take your passion your senior year and make you want to not play.
I mean, that's huge too, but that goes back to community.
Yeah.
But not just community. We gotta remember these kids are not us.
Yeah,
It's all the way dumbed down. They're not us. It's times where I'm talking to my son and I'm just looking at him like, bro, that's not something to be that upset about. I mean, you literally hanging your whole hat up on that.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but we gotta remember these kids ain't us.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But what I mean by community is you had that conversation with your child.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have those conversations with their child. As you say, they not even showing up to practice, yet alone a game.
Man, what?
If you had a home game and the away team got more than your home fans, that's a community issue.
It was rough. This was a rough season.
This was a rough season.
It was some bright spots though. I will say that, and I don't want this to be completely negative because, man, I tell you, there are some kids on that team.
They always have talent.
Places.
Always.
Yeah. And I don't even just mean talent wise. I mean just going places in life. Like
smart kids.
Man, really. Smart kids that have a lot going from, not just smart, but they're good in athletics as well. But man, like they have a great outlook on life and they just do everything the right way. We have some of those kids in
That's
this
awesome,
program.
bro. That's awesome.
I just wish everybody could kind of just follow that, grab on that kid's coattails and be like, yeah, that's the role model right there. So
yeah.
How many D1 kids we got on the Braswell?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. Unless somebody comes in.
And not just strictly football. I'm talking basketball.
Oh,
basketball different.
Yeah, basketball is different. But I think in Braswell's total, I could probably count maybe on my two hands. And I'm just speaking from the male side. I know for a fact that there is a female, Macy, who is she's a long distance runner. She's going to BYU.
Okay,
amazing. Won state 3-4 years in a row.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, she'll probably go far this year in the season for us on the track. But you can tell how she carries herself. You don't have to tell her to go work out.
Yeah,
she's not even practicing with the other
team.
girls.
Yeah,
she's there in the morning getting her workout in. She's on a whole different schedule. She's been running almost all year round, and she'll probably jump in and do her thing. But yeah, that girl, she's a true Division I. So it's a handful, and you can tell the D1 athletes because they just carry themselves so much different when it comes to their athletics. They take it seriously, and not only just athletics.
Yeah, they take their education,
everything seriously.
Yeah.
So how can a young player, obviously as a track athlete, right? Mm-hmm. How can you mold a freshman or sophomore to watch her habits, to learn to be that leader for the other 50, 60 athletes?
Yeah, so this is what I'm doing. It's big with this freshman class because I take a real strong stance with this freshman class because they came in with me. Yeah. And I actually got a chance to, I was the head freshman football coach too. Okay. So I actually had to lead those guys. And I always reiterated to themselves, I'm like, bro, and the crazy thing is they were tabbed as being this special class. And I was like, don't let that get to your head.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to take it for granted and you're not going to work as hard. And they had to learn from that because I don't want to say more talented, but the A team, I guess, they didn't have the better record of the two teams.
Yeah.
They had the B team had a better record freshman-wise than the A team because those B team kids, they were hungry.
Yeah.
And they listened and they worked because they wanted more.
The
A team guys, they got stagnant.
I made it.
They was comfortable.
Yeah,
I told them from day
I'm on
one.
18.
I was like, don't get comfortable here.
Yeah.
Because your spot is going to get taken.
Right.
If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, these red guys, because it's red and black, the red is the B team, black is the A team, these red guys want to be where you are. And they're going to work and fight and claw until they can get to that spot.
Yeah.
So me as a coach, I just kind of just tell them, like, man, don't take anything for granted, any opportunity, bro. Just you have to work. And I know that's real cliche to say because all coaches are going to say work. But you have to work not when I say work, but on your own.
Yeah. Everything not done in practice, even us as youth coaches, man, we tell our
parents.
kids all the time, like, hey, 2 hours of practice, 2 days, 3 days a week, that
Ain't
ain't
enough.
gonna cut it.
Enough, man.
That's not gonna cut it,
Boys back here, listen.
Yeah, man.
know?
Like, if you are really banking on going somewhere with these athletics, you have to live and breathe and die behind it, man. Like, you really need to, if you're a basketball player, bro, you need to wake up in the morning, put up shots.
Yeah.
You need to.
Man,
I tell
what?
my kids every night. I tell my athletes every night, man. Just because we doing abs here for track, we do abs every day at the end of track practice, bro. You need to be doing them every night before you go to bed.
Man, my son, Coach G, out in this sports U, man, he
Bro,
he telling us to work out.
Bro, I'm in the sports shoot every day. Like, hey, do this. But the crazy thing is that, see, I'm only doing that because it has to be instilled in them to do it.
Yeah,
Because
correct,
they're not going to do it themselves.
They're not gonna do it.
They don't know.
Teenagers, yeah.
They don't know it. They're going to go home. They're going to fire up 2K, and they're going to be on that, the Fortnite, and all of that. And it's cool to do that every now and then, but if you trying to go somewhere, bro, this a business now.
Yeah, facts.
It's a business with these sports, especially in football, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
the opportunities right now for D1 kids are extremely limited.
Yeah, ooh,
With that transfer
and
portal?
and that window getting smaller.
My last question: what's your future look like?
Man, look, I want to continue to learn. I feel like, and the crazy thing is, I want to be a defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Here soon.
Okay.
Before I left Kimball, I actually interviewed because our whole defensive staff at Kimball was relieved, except for me. I was still on there, but all of my, like our DC, the other defensive backs coach who was an NFL player, Damian Robinson, he was a guy I worked with. I learned a lot from him. Our linebackers coach, all of them, they got let go. Just kind of going against that. I guess they were kind of clashing with the head coach. I was the only one to remain, and I applied and interviewed for the DC spot there.
Okay.
Sat in an interview for about 2.5 hours, and like I was on my stuff, but I felt like I should have. I felt like at the time that I should have got that spot. I really was. I felt jaded at the time. That was part of the reason I ended up leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just learned this past year that I didn't really know enough. Like, especially going from 4A to 6A.
6A.
And I seen
talk
how
about that a little bit.
our coordinator, Coach Wheeler, who just left, I seen how he prepared, and I was like, dog, I'm nowhere near that. I got to get to that level.
Yeah.
So I do want to be a defensive coordinator. So I'm still trying to get my bag together as far as that, so I can be the best I can be at the highest level.
Correct.
So even if I don't get a 6A job, I still am prepared to if I need to be.
As a 6A coach. My next question is how would you advance, right, for a young athlete to make him be prepared for the next level, right? Because we already know that it's not a day-to-day. It's not a day-to-day at practice. It's not a day-to-day just going to school, right? What I know that they got to do the extra training, they got to do the extracurricular activity, right? But what is it? Just like you said, your red team had a better record than the black team, right?
Yep.
They worked, they listened, they advanced, right? They played the scheme.
Yeah.
It's not just about your athletic ability anymore. How can we prepare athletes for that better from a youth standpoint or a middle school standpoint?
Yeah.
I believe that they really the kids, especially, and I hate the cliche of this generation, but let's be honest, this generation, y'all really need to latch on to somebody who's going to be that. And don't just be like, oh, I follow this guy because he's going D1. No, if you, and by follow him, I don't mean just follow him on social media. I mean literally go see what a day is like with him.
Yeah.
See, look at what he does. And it's got to be a really good example because there are some guys who just go off their talent.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy who does go to class, the guy who does everything is revolved around school and his sport. Really latch on to that guy, see what that guy does. pick up his mannerisms and watch them, because coach, we can spit at them all day.
Yeah.
And all it's gonna sound like to them is, this is another adult telling me what to do.
Yeah.
But if you go and watch the guys that you see are playing at this high level and that you want to aspire to be, and you watch them and see what they do, I think that would be a good start for the youngsters now to advance themselves.
Okay.
Because me saying it over and over again, they gonna get tired of hearing me say it.
Yeah,
Of course.
like a parent.
Yeah, that's all it is. I'm like an extension of the parents. And the parents, we all saying, but the thing is, we all still community. We all have to be on the same page. So what I'm spitting, the parents got to be spitting
it too.
So
Facts.
that's why it's big. But they really need to, somebody that's not too much older than them.
Yeah.
Somebody who's literally there at the school, and I'm really big on bringing them kids back. The kids
I like that.
Bringing them kids back and letting them know, hey, this is real.
Yeah.
This is how it is. I'm expected to be up this time. I got meetings. I got this. I don't have time to go to this party. I don't have time to play the game. All my spare time is I'm in the gym. I'm in the weight room. I'm on the track. I'm this. I'm that. I'm this. I'm with my trainer. That's how it needs to be. If that's the life you want to live, and you 100 about it, you got to do that, bro.
Okay, so do you think rec ball, and when I mean by rec, youth sports, so back in the day, we called it rec, because it was only rec leagues for real, but it's a lot of leagues now, but do you think youth sports is important for the mentality of our kids growing up into sports? Because I know out here in Denton, at least in Texas, that they can't start sports until 7th grade. So do you think that them playing at 8, 9, 10 is important for the mentality and for athleticism and knowledge?
Knowing what you are a part of, I'm gonna give y'all my 100% real, truth, honest answer. And as somebody that's played, rec sports, growing up, played little league and stuff like that, bro, as a coach, a high school coach, bro, and it's not everybody, I can't stand little league, what it's become. Now, not every organization is like that.
Okay.
The organization has to really, really be focused on developing the skills.
Okay.
Not just going out and assembling the best talent to go win. I get it. It's about, you want to win. But a lot of these coaches, if you want to call them that, are misguided. They are really more focused on just winning and just getting their name in the national spotlight and stuff like that. I've seen it. I see it going on back in St. Louis. I see it a lot. Like, I couldn't be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad that I'm here. I don't see it as much here because I didn't grow up here. So I'm pretty sure it is here. But
Is it?
But like especially as a high school coach, because a lot of the stuff that they learn in the little league, it has to be retaught. It has to be. I have to teach them, because it's bad habit on bad habit on bad habit. If we are truly teaching these kids how to be, the right type of athlete, bro, it has to start from that young age. It's not, you got to teach them how to play the game the right way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we got to spend time reteaching, and that takes away.
Yeah.
So now you are a year behind when you could have already been where you needed to be.
So what? Okay, so how could we make this better? What would be your advice to, as far as being a high school coach, coaching in the middle school? Because I hear a lot of things about middle school ball, but what would be something that you would give? Because we're not just gonna work on a problem. We're gonna talk about what would be something that we can help fix that stigma.
Well, not even that. Like, how would Braswell, right? Because you guys have a youth program, right? That go into obviously the feet of the middle school, right? How much are you guys involvement in the 1 year that you've been there in the youth program and the middle school program? Is it even something that you guys look into, or is it a coach by coach scenario?
See, now we definitely involve our kids that could be potential Braswell Bengals in the future. We have our Project Red, where they are allowed to come up there working out. They're working out with us. Like, we come up, this is what I was a part of this last summer. They come up, they get a good workout in the weight room, they get on the field stuff. And that's for anybody, in this area that wants to come. Not even just, Braswell, potential Braswell students. But as far as I think, and outside of, us, reaching out and being more visible, which we are, because we do have to go and be,
The middle school.
we have to go to middle school games. So
Yeah, I
they
mean,
have to see us.
I look at it as like programs, the top programs of like South Lake,
Yeah.
Aledo,
Yes.
right? Like those
Yes.
programs are involved from
Yeah.
4 years old when they putting on flags
Yeah.
to,
And
14 coming out of 8th grade.
I just feel like it's one of the things, because this is an ever growing area. It's one of the things that has to kind of just be really focused on.
Okay.
So if we really focus on that, and I'm pretty sure that there are the schools like the Geyers and Ryans and whatnot, those successful schools, they probably focus on it a little bit more. But with us being a newer school, we have to really, really hone in on that. But also we need to make sure that we have the right youth coaches with the right mindset in those positions in order to, they don't want to get, they shouldn't just be given a position because they want to win and this like that. Well, yeah, everybody wants to win, but we need them to be really focused on developing their skills. And I'm speaking solely for football. They really need to focus on, hey, we're finna practice this, these skills for these positions. And I know by levels you learn more, but that's what it is. We got
The scheme is the same.
It's football, bro. So we need to find the coaches that have the mindset and are looking out for the kids' best interests and not just their own stardom.
Their own kid.
Or their own kid. So
Yeah.
So, man, Devi, we appreciate you coming out. We know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but hey,
it's all good.
hey,
my boy.
man, we appreciate you and giving us insight and talking to us today. And, if there's anything that you want to leave out with,
I mean,
You got any drops, like, training, anything?
well, right now, with me being in that transition mode, and then I'm in season right now for track, I am going to be starting to do some defensive back training, maybe as soon as this summer comes up. I'll. Yeah,
I was gonna say, go ahead and leave all your Instagram.
So
your handles.
my Instagram is at the coach with a KOACHG with 2 I's at the end, the Coach G. And then I also do a little, media on the side, doing some highlights and stuff like that. And that's Drip Season Clips. That's DRIPSZN Clips, KLIPS. You can follow me on that. Check out my videos and things like that. Bengal Speed on the way. We got our first meet February 21st at Hebron. So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing how my boys do on this track this year. But other than that, I appreciate y'all for having me. I hope
Thank you for coming out on Super Bowl
y'all learned
Sunday.
something today.
Yeah.
We appreciate
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right.